Once upon a time, in a small town in England, there was a little girl named Joanne Rowling. Everyone called her Jo. From the moment she could hold a pencil, Jo loved stories. She would sit by her window, dreaming up magical worlds filled with brave heroes, strange creatures, and endless adventures. Her favorite time of day was bedtime. Not because she wanted to sleep, but because she wanted to tell stories to her little sister. She would whisper exciting tales about wizards and witches, making her sister's eyes grow wide with wonder. Even as a child, Jo's imagination was like a treasure chest, full of secrets waiting to be unlocked. But Jo's childhood was not always easy. Her family didn't have much money, and life often felt difficult. Still, books became her best friends. She would escape into the pages of adventure novels, traveling far beyond her tiny home. At school, Jo wasn't the best at math or sports, but when it came to writing, she sparkled. Teachers noticed her gift, but Jo still carried doubts. Could a girl like her ever become a real writer? Deep down, she held on to her secret dream. One day, she would write stories that would inspire the world. Years passed. Jo grew up, went to university, and faced the challenges of adult life. She had jobs, teaching, working in offices, but her heart always returned to writing. Then, one day, as she sat on a delayed train from Manchester to London, an idea struck her. It came suddenly, like magic. She imagined a boy with round glasses, messy hair, and a lightning-shaped scar on his forehead. A boy who didn't know he was special until he discovered he was a wizard. That boy's name? Harry Potter. Jo's heart raced. She grabbed a pen, but had no paper. So she sat quietly, letting the story unfold in her mind, as if a door to another world had just opened. But life grew even harder. Jo faced personal struggles. Her mother passed away, she moved to another country, her marriage ended, and she returned home with her baby daughter. She was now a single mother with little money. There were days she could barely afford food. She often wrote in cafes, with her baby asleep beside her, because her home was too cold to stay in. Still, Jo never gave up. She kept writing. Page after page, chapter after chapter, she poured her heart into the story of Harry Potter. It wasn't just a book. It was her hope, her light in the darkest times. But life grew even harder. Jo faced personal struggles. Her mother passed away, she moved to another country, her marriage ended, and she returned home with her baby daughter. She was now a single mother with little money. There were days she could barely afford food. She often wrote in cafes, with her baby asleep beside her, because her home was too cold to stay in. Still, Jo never gave up. She kept writing. Page after page, chapter after chapter, she poured her heart into the story of Harry Potter. It wasn't just a book. It was her hope, her light in the darkest times. Finally, after years of work, Jo finished her first manuscript, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. She felt both nervous and excited. Surely, someone would see the magic in her story, right? But the first publisher said, No. Then another said, no, and another. In fact, 12 publishers rejected her book. Imagine that, 12 doors slammed in her face. Most people would have stopped. Most people would have said, maybe it's not good enough. But not Jo. She whispered to herself, I believe in Harry. I believe in this story. So she kept going.
And then, at last, a small publisher called Bloomsbury said yes. But even then, the editor warned Jo, don't expect to make much money from children's books. What they didn't know was that Harry Potter was about to change the world. In 1997, the first book was released. Children who didn't usually like reading suddenly stayed up all night turning the pages. They laughed, they cried, they dreamed. And word began to spread fast.
Soon, Harry Potter wasn't just a book. It became a global phenomenon. Sequels followed, each one bigger than the last. Bookstores overflowed with fans waiting at midnight for the next adventure. And Jo, the struggling single mother who once wrote in cold cafes, she became J.K. Rowling, one of the most successful authors in history. Movies, theme parks, translations in more than 80 languages. The boy who lived had truly come alive for millions.
But the most magical part of this story isn't spells or potions. It's the lesson J.K. Rowling's life teaches us. That failure is not the end. That rejection does not define you. That even in your darkest days, your dreams can guide you to the light. J.K. Rowling once said, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." So remember this, when doors close, when people doubt you, when you feel like giving up, keep going. Because just like Jo, you never know when your story will change the world.